And welcome everybody, it's Dan, hope you're well today. Welcome to the Business Growth Show. So we are live here in Spain, hope you're well. So we've got a little one at home today. She's just on the couch, flitting in between doing homework and watching the telly. My motivation is like so low today, I just can't be bothered doing anything. But we've got all the little bits that need to be done, you know, to kind of keep the business going, all the little bits of admin, all the bits of paperwork, all the following up of people that we've spoken to last week and all of that kind of thing. Double checking all the team are all right, double checking that all the work's getting done. All that stuff gets done automatically anyway through the team, through the managers that we've embedded in the team. And so I thought, let's go live today with a Business Growth Show, but let's talk about 2024. And let's talk about some of the things that I think that we can implement better, not necessarily in my business, although some of it will be in my business as well, which we'll go through, but also in your business right now. And as we are moving forwards in time, the amount of digital transformation of what we do, the more of what we do basically goes online in one form or another. And it's very important for us to do that. And interestingly, like we got a CCJ for someone, a tenant who's not paying a rent, so we hit them with a CCJ. Some organisations seem to be going off digital transformation. So, for example, we give them a CCJ, and then when we get them a CCJ, we don't get a copy of that ourselves. No, that goes through the post. So even though we did everything online, we're now sending it through the post, and we don't get a copy online. So because I live in Spain and the CCJ goes to my office, I now don't have a copy of it. And it's like, why would you even do that? Why would you waste money? First of all, it's £1, right? And then printing, and then you've got to put it in an envelope or whatever. I'm sure you have computers and robots that do that. But it doesn't make sense why an organisation would make it less digitally transformed. Why are you making things harder for yourself, and why are you having additional costs? It doesn't make sense. But in all our businesses, with people who actually, if we don't perform, we don't get paid. Obviously, if you work for a council or if you work for Her Majesty's Courts, you get paid no matter what happens, right? So I think that's probably one of the differences. But for normal people like you and I, we have to transform our businesses into an entity that is much more accessible by many more people in the easiest way possible. And the way to do that, obviously, is using online stuff. You know, we've got the internet now. I don't know if you heard of it. It's been around for like 20, 30 years. Hopefully you have. And it still amazes me. And people are like, can you just send it over? Oh, no, we need a fax copy. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I need a fax copy. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Oh, why can't you do that? Because where I live. Where do you live? 2023, that's where I live. Not lived with fax machines since the 1990s, for God's sake. But people still ask for that stuff. It's just bizarre. Just scan it and email it and send it. But, you know, with a digital transformation, we ran some podcasts last week. We talked about using frictionless transactions. So, for example, we're doing some work on serviced accommodation websites at the moment. We've got a few dropped in, and so we're doing some work around those. And so we talk about frictionless transactions. So instead of someone saying, I want to come and stay at your serviced accommodation for 2 weeks over Christmas, well, what dates are they? Well, these are the dates. Okay, who's coming? Well, these people are coming. How much is it? It's this much. Okay, yeah, do you want to go for that? Yeah, I want to go for that. Like, there's 6 or 7 different emails to and froing, whereas obviously, right, that should just be automatic. that whole process should now be online, and there should be no toing and throwing. Everything should be there, ready to make, allow people to make the decisions, to make the purchase that they actually need in order for them to book for serviced accommodation. And it's not just serviced accommodation, right? So I'm sure you come across websites and there's no pricing on. Now, by the way, I'm a hypocrite here because there's no pricing on my website either. But and that's because we have to have a consultative approach to closing clients. We can't just sell a website for 500 quid. We don't know what they want. It might be a £2,000 website. It might be £500. We don't know until we actually get on a call and see what they need. And it's the same with content and all the rest of it. So that's the reason why we don't put prices on. But if you're a florist, good example, or a plumber who's got a call out, a 24-hour emergency call out, £85, whatever that's going to be, it shouldn't be call this number now. It should be you go online, you book it, you buy it, you pay for it, and it's delivered the next day, or the guy turns up the next night or that night to book in to fix your boiler or whatever you've got. And it could even be, on First Fix, it's a 1 hour session, and you book that in, and that's £85. And how often does it go over 2 hours? Not very, I'm guessing, unless we need parts and so on, in which case we go off and order the parts. But that whole process should be transformed online. And you've got to have this in your business as well. So in my business, for example, people are like, can I have your phone number? I'm like, what do you want my phone number for? Well, to call you. Well, let's book an appointment. Like we use Google Meet, right, and Calendly for people to schedule appointments. Oh no, I just want your phone number. No, because you're going to phone me at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. I don't want that. So we've transformed that process. So now, if you want to speak to me, by all means, you can speak to me, but you have to book an appointment, and that whole process is done online. So that it removes all this toing and throwing. Well, I'm available at 2. Well, I'm not available then, but I'm available at 3 on Thursday. Well, I'm not available then till Friday at 4. It changes the way that you do it, and you should have this as well. Calendly is really good for setting up stuff like that, and of course there are different booking systems available. But you need to be really thinking about what are the different things in your business that you should be transforming to make transactions easier, to make speaking with you easier, to make getting support easier. Can you implement a support type software where people get support tickets and so on? So usually for us it's via email. Not that our clients need a lot of support, and those that do need support are actually in contact with us all the time anyway. Those that have a website, if the website goes down, we actually know the website's gone down before they do, and we reach out to them and they're like, oh, I didn't even know. And actually, most of the time, I say most of the time, it very rarely happens. But if it does happen and we know first, we go and fix it. And then we go speak to the client and go, oh, your website went down, right? Oh, it's fixed, but we fixed it. All that process is all done online, and it's seamless. And often the clients don't even know. But you should be thinking about what are the other things that you could actually move online to stop you having to get involved with, to free up your time, because your time should be better else spent doing different things. And I'm constantly having conversations with my team, because every so often I get pulled back into delivery of products, and that's really not where I should be. I should be leading the company, coming up with ideas, forming strategic partnerships, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and that should be my role. And I keep getting pulled into it, and actually less and less so now, because I've got really strict on what I do and what I don't do. And you should have that too. And the things that you shouldn't be doing is always toing and throwing, because your computer or the internet or your website should be doing that for you. So whatever that is, you need to be having a think about that. And then the second bit, I think, for 2024 that's going to be really, really important is about you increasing the amount of outsourcing that you do. And this can be anything, right? So obviously we run a digital marketing agency, and all our clients outsource all their marketing to us because they don't want to do it, and they don't want to have yet another full-time person, because having a full-time person costs between 10 and 20% of their monthly cost anyway, in all the other things you have to supply them, like pensions and laptops and a desk and a car and all this other stuff that's needed, and holidays. 1 out of 12 months is if there's nobody there, because we're on holiday, right? Because we get 4 weeks holiday. So we find a lot of clients are increasingly outsourcing, especially things like their digital marketing, but also other things like VAs. Getting a VA. Now, one of the problems with getting a VA, I'm all for people getting a VA, but one of the problems is that they go and they get someone who's from overseas, and so culturally it's different. And also, they then don't have the time to actually deal with the VA to explain why a certain thing has to be done in a certain way. And so, invariably, it doesn't work. One of the reasons why people use us is that we actually understand what they need, and because we're English as well, like native English speakers, and none of this spelling colour without the letter U, for example, which happens quite a lot when you outsource. But because we're native English and we actually understand the concepts behind what's going on, it just means that our outsourced fulfillment works so much smoother than just going to a VA in Thailand or China or India or that kind of thing. So I'm all for people getting VAs. I just think that you have to kind of watch and be a little bit more careful, because the management of that VA is actually quite intensive in teaching them what you want them to do. One of the benefits of outsourcing to a company like us is you don't have to teach us what to do. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We're teaching you what we need from you in order for us to go off and create all this other content that we can then get out. And interestingly, nice little segue there onto the omni-channel marketing. And an omni-channel is a dreadful word, isn't it? Omnichannel marketing basically means you need to be everywhere all at once. And that's that film, isn't it? Everywhere all at once, right? She won I forgot the lady's name. She won several awards for it. Anyway, but in your business, you should be everywhere all at once. So, for example, one of the reasons we go live on the Business Growth Show and all the other podcasts that we do is that off this one show, we'll be able to pull out maybe 10 or 14 different pieces of 1 minute small form pieces of content. And then in addition, we'll be able to pull out the podcast, and we've got podcasts going out every day at the moment. And then not only have we got different types of content going out, so now we've got long form video, we've got audio, and we've got short form video. That then goes out onto omni channels, multiple different channels of getting your message out there. So this is really, really important, that not everybody's on LinkedIn, and not everybody's on Instagram, and not everybody's on TikTok or Twitter or iTunes and Spotify and Amazon or Facebook, but they're on a mixture of these different things. Or it could even be that they're just on your email list. And so this is definitely something we don't do enough of. We don't email our list anywhere near as much. In fact, we turned off our automated list, because the plan was to be a little bit more personable, so that when we send an email, it's actually us actually sending it on that specific day rather than something that we wrote 3 years ago. So we actually turned that off. And actually, we really do need to turn that on unless we're going to get to the stage where we're doing a lot of more newsletters. And I'm sure you've heard the phrase, cobbler's children has no shoes. We're the same, right? We're so busy doing all this other stuff for our clients. Sometimes we're a little bit amiss on doing the stuff for ourselves. So, but that just doesn't discard the fact that we are everywhere all at once on all the other channels. So actually, the fact that we're not going out as much on our email marketing doesn't really matter, because we are on Twitter and LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and several pages on Facebook and Amazon and iTunes and Spotify. We're across the board on all of those things. And I think this month or next month we're in one of the property magazines as well, for example, in Blue Bricks, whatever that's coming out next, with a article that we got wrote about us. So we're covering many more different ways of getting our message out there through these omni marketing channels. And actually 2024, really, all of this is about you getting in front of as many more people as you can with your message. This is absolutely key. And as Gary Vee would say, he's got a new book coming out, something to do with attention arbitrage, as he calls it. And I hate that word, arbitrage. Nobody really knows what it means. But basically getting in front of as many people as you can with your message, talking about whatever it is that you want to talk about. That's what you should be doing in 2024. So your digital transformation is about you getting your message out. Increasing outsourcing should be about you getting your message out. Omni-channel marketing should be about you getting your message out, which very nicely leads us to strategic partnerships. So, for example, this month or next month, we're in November, so it's either December or January, it might even be February, we're in a magazine, for example. And so that is kind of a strategic partnership, but nothing that's more regular. And maybe we need to go and have a chat with them and see what can we do to make that a little bit more regular, which could be quite an interesting thing to have a conversation about. But in addition, other strategic partnerships are when our clients are selling things, can we push their product and get a kickback, like from affiliate sales? So I just got back from Billionaire Bootcamp. I say just, it was, 7-14, so about 2.5 weeks ago. It's gone really quick. But one of the things that we had a conversation with Chris about was, can we help sell some of his stuff and get a kickback for that? And so that's something we need to go and just secure and have another conversation about that. But also, for example, we've got Dave, who's now one of our interviewers, going to start interviewing our clients. And then in addition to interviewing our clients, going to interview business owners, just normal business owners going about their normal everyday business, to create a business channel to talk about how do they do it, what are the problems, how do they solve them, what do they do for marketing, where does the cash flow come from, how does that business look, what's the ideas for growth. So that's another strategic partnership where Dave will interview, come under our brand. It's a really nice thing to do, and then we share the shorts across our channel marketing channels effectively. So what other strategic partnerships can you put in place? One of the other ones that we're probably going to do is just inviting people on that I actually speak to on a semi-regular basis anyway. We've got one guy in mind for mindset, for example, where we come on and speak for an hour, and it's just me and him, and we just talk about mindset, in particular just about mindset, because I think that's actually got a lot of benefit as well. So we have a growth of these strategic partnerships, and in 2024, and we haven't actually got the document yet. And so for 2024, we're going to create a document on, okay, whose stuff do we want to be reselling that's in a good alignment to actually what we do? Who do we want to have as a regular guest on our podcast shows? Because we think that they've got a lot of value to add. Who is that? Who else can we bring on to interview either our clients or other business owners that then can come under our brand and extend our message out? So we need a good look at what those are going to be. Our digital transformation is pretty much complete. You know, we're a digital marketing agency. It should be. Our outsourcing, we tend not to be able to do, but I've got a few things that I need to do. One of them is business accounts. My business accounts is such a shocking methodology. I just shove everything in an envelope, send it over, and hope for the best. And actually, we do have cash flow forecasts, so we know if we're up, if we're down, what month is going to be good, what month is going to be bad. So we have that, but that can be definitely improved upon. More marketing channels, I think, is useful, but also consistency in getting those marketing messages out, I think, is really key. And also, one of the things that kept me awake last night, really weirdly, was about improving the quality of the stuff that we've actually got going out right now. And I think that's going to be really useful, literally upping the quality. So I was looking at, like, for example, a Brio webcam, which webcams in 4K. Obviously, the bottleneck is with our internet. But it's like, you know, what are the things that we can do to improve, not just technological, but from our strategic partnership point of view. And these are important conversations that we as a team should be having internally. And it's an important conversation that you also should be having, because there's somebody right now in your phone book that would more than happily sell your stuff, right? And in addition to this, we've got our affiliates. So we've actually taken on an affiliate manager who hasn't done it yet, but needs to message all our affiliates and ask them what they need. So we can supply them with the content that they need to go and sell more business. They make 20% up front and then 10% a month. But we get all the business for that, and then we're able to grow the business for our affiliate team. So strategic partnerships are both internal, in terms of who've we got to do all the additional marketing and interviewing of clients and non-clients. That's one. It's also external in that we have affiliates that should be selling our stuff. And then just a little bit further than that, what was the other one? Oh, other people's stuff that we should be selling as well, that complements what we actually do and actually adds value to our client base and people who aren't our clients but would add value to their lives as well. So that's something that we're personally going to look at in 2024 for growth. Anyway, look, I hope you find that useful. Lots of stuff in there. And hopefully you'll find that useful, and we'll catch up with you on tomorrow's session. Other than that, have a wicked day, and we'll speak to you then. Take care.